Today we are going to focus in on Remedyforce. If you have any questions or problems as we walk through this, go ahead and put it in the Q&A window, and we'll try and get those addressed. Valerie is recording this for us, so at the end of this, we can go ahead and send you the link to the recording, and you can share it with your coworkers. So this is going to be kind of a random set of tips and techniques. Hopefully out of this, you get something useful. We do have some blogs on our site as well, if you want to look through those. And of course, there's a RightStar TV with some various videos as well. As you all know, Winter 18 came out in January. If you didn't know, the beta for summer is already underway. You can always sign up for that out in communities if you want to take a look at what's planned for summer. There are some interesting things there, but that's futures talk. So today we're going to focus on what came out in January. A lot of things came out, and I know we were excited by like the record types and other things, but I wanted to bring up a few points that you may or may not have noticed. The first one is dependent picklist. If you're like me, you were a little confused about that. What do we mean by dependent picklist are now available on self-service? So let's talk about that. When I go in to create a service request definition, right, I have these conditional questions. So here I have the URL that I'm accessing. I have it marked as conditional, and I can display it if another condition is true. So in this case, I'm saying if they're accessing development, show me the URL. So we've always had the idea of conditional questions. So I could say, you're looking for a mobile device. If you say iPhone, I'm going to show you iPhone models. If you say Android, I'm going to show you Android models. So I was like I said, I was a little confused about dependent picklist. But dependent picklist is actually something that's core Salesforce. So I'm over here on my incident object. You can see I'm here on my incident object. I have a bunch of fields. I added a couple fields in here. Added one called, sorry about the scrolling, that's always nauseating. I added one called location, and I added one called department at location. Just two normal picklist fields. And then what I did is hit this field dependencies button. And this is the dependent picklist. If I edit this, I can see that my New York location has accounting, HR, and sales. My San Francisco location has everything. Houston has these 3 departments, and of course Vancouver, Washington has a few more departments. So that's a dependent picklist. It's saying based upon my location value, what other values are going to appear. It's very similar to those conditional ones, but again, this is a core Salesforce functionality. So how do we do this with self-service? I'm first going to show what this looks like, and then we're going to come back into the back end. When I come in to submit a ticket, I'm going to go ahead and see those dependent fields up here at the top. So I've got location New York. I've got 3 departments. I say location San Francisco. I have a whole lot of departments. And again, Vancouver, Washington, where I'm located, I have these 3 departments. So that's where the dependent picklist shows up if I tie it to an incident. If I also do this for service request, let me click on request appointment. Again, the dependent picklists are at the top. So I pick New York. I have a different set of fields, by the way, for service requests than I do for incident, and that's why you don't see Vancouver here. I didn't do that on service request. So San Francisco, different ones as well. I don't know how much you're going to use this, because this dependent picklist, if I put it onto my incident or I put it in my service request, is going to show up on every service request or every time I submit a ticket. So most of the time, I think we're still going to do those conditionals, where if I pick development, I get another pick list. So I could have a choice here being location, and then based upon what I pick, show the departments at that location. And then I can choose to have it on a service request or not. But if there is something you want to have across service requests, or every time they open an incident, dependent picklists are easy to maintain, are a nice way to do it. So again, whether I'm on there or I submit a ticket, can see them. How do I actually get them to show up? Let's say, yes, Anne, I want to do this. There is something I need to ask the users all the time, and I want to use Dependent Picklist to do it. There are a couple things you need to do. One of the things that took me a second to find, maybe more than a second, this box here. So I'm in my service request in Remedyforce administration. So those of you that haven't been in there yet, configure self-service, service request. And there's a box here, use fields from service request, yada, yada, yada. If that is checked, you will not see your dependent pick list. If that is unchecked, you will see them. So my first step was to uncheck that box. I then created the fields, both for incident and for on my service request. My service request object is request detail. And of course, my incident object is incident. So we create the fields, and then we use page layouts. This is being recorded, so if you're taking frantic notes, you will be getting the recording. And I had promised Valerie a blog post. I might do 2 blog posts after this, because as such, probably I should do a blog post. But again, you will be getting the recording, so don't worry if you don't get all the notes right. So there's a field set in incident management called self-service ticket layout. If I go into that one, you can see I've added my location and my department at location into that field set. For service request, on the request detail object, I have a field set called request detail self-service 3.0. If I go into there, you can see I drag those 2 fields down there. It is available. It may be useful to some of you. It may not be useful to some of you. So just wanted to make sure everybody understood what it did, because to be honest, when it first got released, I didn't understand. It's great if you want those fields. They might be more useful in incident than on service request. So on the submitted ticket, I see them up there. But it may be something you do want to have on your service request, but they are going to appear on all of the service requests. Just want to be clear on that. So when we talk about dependent pick list, handful of steps to go through. You have to create your fields. You have to add them into either the incident page field set or into the request details field set, and you have to uncheck that box. Not a lot of steps, but those steps are there, and then you're going to be able to use dependent pick list. And again, if you have any questions, do put them in the Q&A box. And again, we will be going and sending the video recording out later if you wanted to review that. I know that was a little complicated with a lot of steps, but that's what we mean by dependent pick list. You can absolutely still use those conditionals, and you can still get those things on a service request by service request basis. But now you can have dependent pick list on your incident, which could come in pretty handy for some things. Okay, the other thing you may or may not have noticed in Winter 18 was Configurable Client Profile. I know there's been requests for this before, so I'm hoping everybody did notice it, but let's talk about how we do that. Okay, turning my page of notes here. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the banner. So again, from Remedyforce Administration, Configure Self-Service, Banner, and this box needs to be checked. So you need to show them their profile on the application banner for them to be able to edit it. I am using Self-Service 3.0. 2.0 is fairly similar in this. I think there's just some slightly different clicking things. Oh, I forgot. While I'm back here. So that's the first step, show my profile. The other thing is, what field sets are you going to have on that particular profile tab? So in my backend, I've gone to Users, my quick find. I've gone down to Field Sets here, and we can see that the user form now has a field set, Self-Service, My Profile. And that is going to allow you to decide what fields are going to be on the profile. So right now, if I bring up my profile for my end user, Jackson Smith, you can see these fields and then zip postal code. If I add another one, maybe for some reason I want Jackson to say when he's out of office. Next time I go in there, that out of office box is going to be available as well. So now you can choose which of these are going to be able to update just through that field set. So users, in the quick find box, come down to user customize, field sets, and you'll see that one. The other thing we can do now is let them edit their photo. It does take a couple keystrokes. I need to go to My Activity, and here we have his current photo. So if I want to update, that's my dog, Wolfie. He's looking at his iPad there. But if I want to pick something different, let's pick Wolfie. Maybe Wolfie's going to be watching the world today. So we'll go ahead and pull that up. And now I've changed the picture to Wolfie watching the world from the couch. So people can now update their profile pictures, have them out there on the self-service. Makes it a little friendlier. If they didn't like the picture you might have uploaded for them, they can go ahead and upload their own. So configurable profiles is going to make it a lot easier for some of you. You don't have to allow it. We mentioned there was that checkbox, right, on administration. You could continue to block them, but if you do want to allow them to do it, absolutely you can do it. I know we're going through a lot of different topics today, so do stop me or put in questions if I've lost you. The third thing around Winter 18 I did want to mention was a mass edit of Cmdb records. I'm really hoping all of you with Cmdbs have noticed this one. Let's take a look at that one. I've got my Cmdb tab up here. Maybe I'm going to come down to my computer systems here. This icon. And we've had the ability to edit in a line-by-line basis before, right? Where I could come through and change one of these, enter in some data, and change it. What's different now is I can select a group of items, and I can edit them all at the same time. A new note. So if you need to put a whole lot of systems into deployed status, you need to change them all to not deployed, you need to update a date, whatever it is, you just go ahead and put in that new note or whatever field it is, and it's going to update them all. So yes, you could absolutely import in a group of records and update them that way, but this is much simpler. So we had the line by line before. What got added in Winter 18 is now I can choose multiples and I can update those boxes or those items at one fell swoop. Great ease of use there for those of you that are using the configuration management database. Those of you that aren't, talk to us. We'd like to know why you're not using it. Is there something we can do to help you populate it, especially for internal facing support desks? Of course, BMC has discovery tools and whatnot, and auto discovery, agentless discovery is included with Remedyforce. So if you're not using it and you want to, please talk to your RightStar representative, and we'll see if we can help you out there. So that was very quickly mass edit of Cmdb records. Hopefully you all found that already, but very cool. So now I want to talk about a couple things that aren't new, but questions we've gotten. This first one's another humdinger. It's probably more confusing than dependent Picklist. I'm going to walk through the scenario. I am going to write a blog on this as well, I promised Valerie, because this, even understanding why this is an issue, can be a little complicated. The idea here is we had a customer who had 3 or 4, maybe 5 levels of categories, which is great. We don't recommend that, but you can do that. So let's look at something like human resources onboarding. Great. They can go ahead and they can pick something at this level, equipment procurement. And they said, great, we've got these levels. So, but we want to report at the top level. They said, I want to report not how many equipment procurements we got, but I want to report on the actual human resources top category. Now, this is why you may have heard from our consultants try to keep it to 2 levels. This customer didn't want to, they wanted to do multiple levels, and then they circled back and said, by the way, and it's hard. Because how are you going to get that top level? Well, there is something in the system called this parent category, a category tree. Let me pull this one. This is an element you can pull out where you can say, well, let's walk the whole category tree. So I'm going to pull in the equipment procurement, points to HR onboarding, which points to human resources. So I want to somehow pull out this human resources category and put it into this custom field, parent category. How do I do that? How am I going to walk through? And remember, this could be long. This could be 4 or 5 or 6. How do I get to that last value to pull it out, put it into parent category so I can report upon it. Well, we did that. We did that by recommending that that top category have a special character. So here's my level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Very imaginative there. You notice I have an exclamation point as part of my level 1. The other ones don't. So in this ticket, I pick level 4. Level 4 filled in this category tree, level 3, level 2, level 1. But now I have a special character to search for. I'm able to look for that exclamation point, and I'm able to pull parent category out from it. So now I have level 1. So now when I run a parent tree report, I can run a report on parent category contains exclamation point level 1, and I'm going to get all the tickets, level 1s, level 2s, level 3s under there. So that was the problem we were trying to solve. How can I report on the parent category when all my tickets are set up with level 2, level 3, level 4, but I really want to know how many level 1s did I have? Well, now I know I have 9 records. And that was the problem we were trying to address here. Again, I will do a blog because this is a little bit complicated. Okay, so I did a couple custom fields. One of them I labeled AB, one of them I didn't, but let's go ahead and come up here. So I did this AB category tree. And it is just pulling the parent tree from the service desk. And maybe I didn't have to do this. Maybe I could have used parent tree directly, but for me, I wanted to look, it just was easier. So I did this field, category tree as a text, and it's pulling back the parent tree. So again, that's how I'm getting this field. I'm getting the entire parent tree for the category I picked. If I pick a different category here, if I pick level 2, we can see that that AB category tree is going to change because only level 1 is above level 2. I go back to level 3. Again, so that's the first step, is to get that full parent tree so I can get to level 1. The second step, and this is probably where you're going to want to look at the blog post because it's the logic is fun. I created this parent category and I did this particular text field. Can you read it? Can you see it? See it all there? Maybe we can blow it up a little bit. So basically, if I pick level 1, there was a special case here. You all are probably thinking about it. It's like, Anne, what if I actually pick level 1? What happens then? Because normally, this would be blank. This is blank. There's nothing above level 1. So I had to account for that special case. So if it's blank, I'm just going to use a category, level 1. If it's not blank, then I'm going to go right. I'm going to find the exclamation point, and I add one just to get my text counts right. Find the exclamation point, and then I'm going to take the length of the category tree minus that. So let's say that exclamation point is in place 10, and the full category tree is 20 characters long. I would say, well, let's take 20 minus the 10. That gives me 10. And so I want to take the right 10 characters to get that level 1. Like I said, I'll do a blog post on this so you don't have to just try and scramble down that logic. You may have to tweak this +1 and whatnot, depending what you want to do. It did work for me, but you may need to adjust a little bit. But so I took that. Let me go ahead and put this back to a level 4. I should have just typed it in instead of hitting the search window, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and pick. We'll pick level 3. So I said, find where that exclamation point is. I don't know, it's about character 10, right? Subtract the, let's say 15 minus 10, that gives me 5, whatever it is. Pull those rightmost characters off of that and put it into here. So that's what that formula is doing. It's pulling the last set of characters, exclamation point on, into the parent category. I did the +1 because I wanted to include the exclamation point because otherwise it wouldn't be quite right when I pick category, exclamation point, level 1. Wow, could I be any more convoluted? But those are the steps I went through. The downside is you do need to have that special character in your parent category. But now, once my users did this, they were able to say everything that came in under level 1, regardless of what level 2, level 3, level 4 were. And that's what they were looking for. They wanted to know the overall category as well as the subcategories. A couple custom fields, nice convoluted little equation there, and you're able to get that, and you're going to be able to report on that. So that's important to you. Keep an eye on Valerie's or RightStar's Twitter feed. We'll get a blog post out there hopefully in the next week and get you that. If you need that beforehand, let me know. I'm happy to email that to anyone. In fact, you're right. I could even hopefully put this in the chat window if you all want to just go ahead and grab it off the chat. So a little convoluted formula. You might have a better way to do it. If you do, let me know. But this did work for my particular customer, so now we can report all level 1s. Okay, everybody's having fun from that one? Let's go to something a little simpler. This one I didn't know. I had a customer who has been using Remedyforce for years. They weren't that thrilled with the activity feed and said that it actually caused them some problems on Chrome. So they just didn't like the activity feed. So I put in an idea, let's disable the activity feed. And Virginia Leandro at BMC said, Anne, you can already disable it. The activity feed, I'm talking about this over here, where you can put in notes and do emails from, and it's getting some enhancements this summer if you join in with the beta stuff. So feel free to do that. But they didn't like it. So Virginia's like, Anne, pay attention, you can already do that. So I hadn't known that, so I wanted to share that. So here I'm going to the Consoles tab. And some of you are probably laughing because you already knew this. But Application Settings, Consoles. I go into here, and right here, Enable Activity Feed. I had not known it was there. Put in that idea. It's still on Communities because I wanted other people who didn't know to know about it. So it's a little embarrassing. But now if I enable Activity Feed, and I refresh my console, and I come into here, I won't have that activity feed over on the right. Like I said, I had one customer who was used to not using it. They didn't like it. It was causing them problems. They wanted to just go ahead and use the action menus like they've always been used to. So they wanted to get rid of it. It's really easy to do. So sorry, customer who I was working with, I didn't know it immediately, but I did send them the follow-up email, and they should be happy now. The next topic I wanted to visit was around Lightning. You've all heard about Lightning. It's a new way Salesforce has their setup. Remedyforce is fully compatible with Lightning. All's great. I'm not using Lightning in this demo. If you were new customers, I would, because people like how it shows. But there are a couple of things I don't like about Lightning. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the Lightning experience. Mostly it's good. Mostly everything works. And the things that don't work aren't Remedy specific or Remedyforce specific. They are Salesforce specific. So I am here on my ticket, and I can come to my Actions menu, and I have Print, and I have Print to PDF. If you haven't looked at these, they're two slightly different ways to print your ticket, but they have a heck of a lot of great information on them. I like that. If I go into a ticket on Remedyforce in the Lightning experience, I no longer have those options. And again, this is not a Remedyforce thing. This is a Salesforce Lightning thing. There's an explanation on Communities. If you ever need to find it, let me know. But I can't do that here. Now, maybe there are third-party utilities, or maybe you never use that, so you're cool with that. But I like to have those options on this menu. So that's one of the things I'm like, okay, Lightning's very cool, but kind of missing that. The other thing about Lightning that I wanted to mention is field sets. I've used field sets a couple times already, right? I used it for the users. We went to the field sets. I went to incident, got to field sets. That was pretty cool. Now, this I like. They have Object Manager over here, and I can just go ahead and do a quick find here and find my incident. I love this part about Lightning. Just want to mention that. This part about Lightning is nice. I don't have to go to create objects and search for incident. I can actually just do it there. But I don't have field sets. If you're going to be adding things to a field set, you need to be in Classic. It's just how it is. Not a big deal. But just know that because we use field sets heavily in Remedyforce, you're going to want to make sure at least some people can switch between Lightning and Remedyforce. Or Lightning and Classic, I should say. so that your administrators at least can get to field sets and do what they need to do. So just wanted to mention that. Now, the other part is more a personal issue. I'm still getting comfortable with the reporting. It's pretty good. It's the same kind of reporting. The access is a little bit different. They kind of just pick a graph for you. We're going to have a graph on here. If things are arranged a little bit differently, that doesn't really thrill me. But this is more me getting used to the reporting, I think, more than Salesforce reporting or Lightning reporting. But I did read something where you can't schedule dashboards refresh on Lightning. You can schedule reports being emailed out, but you can't go ahead and do the dashboard. So that's a little annoying. And the other thing is you cannot share folders on Lightning. So you need to do your sharing in Classic, and then you'll see your shared folders. But if you want to share a folder, you can't seem to do that in Lightning yet. So some minor annoyances. If your users love Lightning, if you're using Lightning for everything else, and I had my desktop share pause for that last little bit. So what I went there is I went to dashboards. I was showing the report, and I apologize for that. I'm sure Valerie was yelling at me through the phone. So I go ahead and if I view a report here, again, I can do things like look at the dashboards and see things, but an actual dashboard I can't schedule, and the report folders I can't share. So those were the two things I think I talked about while I paused my screen. The reason I paused my screen is I also wanted to mention that Salesforce is not allowing Lightning to be used in IE 11. So if you log into IE 11, you will automatically be put in Classic. You don't have the option to switch to Lightning. You can keep using IE 11. You can keep using Remedyforce and Salesforce and everything. You just won't have the Lightning experience in IE 11. So if you're in a mixed environment of browsers, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Otherwise, please use Lightning. It's cool. It looks good. If everything else works for you, absolutely use Lightning. To use Lightning, you are going to go ahead and have to set up the permissions. So what we let me go ahead and shrink this down just a little bit. We actually just set up a Lightning permission set. It has just one box checked. I believe it's under Object Settings. And maybe it was under, we'll find this out on Communities as well. But one of these around here, there's a box that you set. And System Permissions probably. There are 3 Lightning boxes. You only have to select one. So only check the Lightning experienced user. That's all you need to do to allow people to do Lightning. And then you can decide if you're going to allow them to switch back and forth, some other things around Lightning. So set up the permission set, assign the permission set to people who want to use Lightning, and then they can go ahead and switch back and forth between Lightning and Classic. Of course, there are steps you're going to set up first to make sure your org will support Lightning, because you may be doing things other than Remedyforce that may or may not allow Lightning. But if you do want to allow it and the few things I've mentioned are okay with you, switch away, let people use Lightning, and then just allow them to switch back to Classic for the few things like printing to PDF, report folder sharing, and the field sets for when they need to do that. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about on Lightning, and I know we've probably hammered Lightning to death by now because you're hearing about things from BMC as well, but did want to mention it. Okay, a couple of things from summer. Y'all are probably already doing these. The first one, highlighting the updated records in the console. That has to do with I'm on my Remedyforce console, and I want to see which tickets have been updated since I was last in them. Got it set to purple here. That's in Remedyforce Administration. It's under that consoles again. It's under Highlight New Action, and you can pick the color you want. So if you were wondering where that got set up, if you've been seeing people on demos and things using that, again, it's under Consoles, New Action, pick the color you want, and things that are new in the Remedyforce console will come in with that color. You all are probably already doing that, but just wanted to mention in case you missed that along the way. The final piece, again, is something I won't use in a demo world, but you all may because you have more complicated environments. Under Email Conversation Settings, so that's Home, Configure Email, Email Conversation Settings. There's the option to pick your email template folder. So for your Remedyforce users, especially if you're using other Salesforce applications, you may not want to have this set to all. You want it set right now I have it set to all. So if I come in and I do an email, I'm going to see everything. If I don't want that, if I want to limit them, then I can go ahead and say, for example, this is a very limited folder. Set it to email conversation templates. And now when I come into here and I go into email, I only have one template available. It is, of course, configured where you expect everything to be configured. So email templates. I have the folders here. I go to email conversation templates. I only have one Visualforce template, and that's the one that's showing up when I'm on Remedyforce. Of course, if you weren't aware of that, that's something we don't always mention, but the list that comes up here, they are Visualforce templates, not the other kinds of templates. So you build new ones, make sure they're Visualforce, and then again, you can set up a folder. Hopefully you're already doing that with the Remedyforce emails, making sure people are just seeing those. But if you did want to set up another folder, do something different, you can. And again, that's controlled here, Remedyforce administration, which folder they're going to see. That was pretty minor. Did want to mention that was out there in case you want to start controlling that. Okay, I ran a little bit past our 30 minutes. Hopefully that was useful. Apologize for the screen pause in the middle, but hopefully we recovered and showed you what I was talking about. That was around the dashboards and reports and Lightning. And again, we'll do a couple blog posts, both on dependent Picklist and on the reporting on a parent category. If you have any questions on those before the blog posts get done, of course, you can always email us and let us know what those are. And to go there, if you don't know how to contact us, hopefully you do with all the emails we send out. Here's how you can contact us, or of course, go directly to your representative. Thank you all for your time today, and you will be getting the recording link. Yes, do we have questions?
One question, yes. How can you tell if you're on Lightning or not?
Okay, the easiest way for me to tell is if I go to dashboards. So classic dashboards look like this. If I'm in Lightning, you've got the different looking tabs across the top. And if you go to your dashboard tabs, it looks like this. So this is classic. You can see what the tabs look like across the top. And this is Lightning. Different tabs, and your dashboard looks like this. That's probably the quickest way. You can also check on your Remedyforce ticket and see if you're able to print a PDF. If those aren't there, you're in Lightning. Any other questions? Thank you, Valerie, for catching that. Okay. As I mentioned, the beta is going on for summer release. A couple of cool things in there I can't talk about yet. But if you do want to join up for that, you can do that through communities. If you're not sure how to do that, let us know. We'll be happy to give you those directions.